What's good, everybody? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode here on the Kinganda channel. Guys, I'm out of the country right now at an undisclosed location, but I'm not so busy enough to be building it up with our brother Street Media TV, George Macon. He's been dropping some good game whenever he comes by. I'll let him introduce who he is and what his channel's about.
Peace, peace, peace. George Macon, Street Media TV. Y'all know my channel is about what's happening outside, current events, and family. We also have the Urban Nerds channel. That's a STEM that represents my STEM nonprofit, and basically getting the youth, building the youth up, and getting them up to speed with all the technologies, where the technology's going today. But that's about it. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know what it is.
All right. We'll give him a round of applause. There's a video that's been going viral. I don't know how long ago it was, but the Ugandan president is a Yoweri Museveni, and I'm living in Uganda right now. He issued somewhat of it was an apology to those that the diaspora sold into slavery. So what I'd like to do before we kind of dissect what he said, I'll play just a little bit of that clip, and he's with his wife, I believe Janet. She also spoke and did a prayer, but we'll just briefly deal with what Museveni said in this clip, and then we're going to come back.
We come in humility and brokenness to repent for the sins of the leaders in Africa, and in particular, the sin of selling our own brothers and sisters into slavery. This great sin brought untold pain and misery to millions of people of African descent, and judgment to the African people who remained on the continent. The grave sin of slavery scattered our people all over the face of the earth, where they have suffered great deprivations and loss.
We also want to rededicate ourselves as the body of Christ in Uganda and in Africa, to work together in unity and love to see our nations transformed for your glory. Finally, we want to pray that in this day, when you are visiting Africa in a special way, we pray that you will heal the deep and historic wounds of our collective past. We pray especially that you will heal the wounds that we inflicted on our brothers and sisters whom we sold into slavery generations ago.
All right, George. So I showed you that clip, and we both saw the same clip, but then we feel maybe a little different as to who the clip was targeted towards. Number one, being that Museveni is Ugandan, some people say that he may even have Rwandan ancestry, so he's definitely East African for sure, Ugandan. Do you believe that he needs to apologize, let's say, for those of us in the African American diaspora? Is that apology for us? And if go ahead.
I mean, he can apologize. It sounds good, but for the most part, the East African slave trade is something history that's basically forgotten about, not really talked about like it should. The East African slave trade went on 1,000 years before the transatlantic slave trade even started. You know, you had the sub-Saharan slave routes, trade routes. You had the vertical slave routes from South Africa all the way up to Iran, just about. You had the Red Sea slavery in Indian slavery in the Indian Ocean, Zanzibar. You had all these different trade routes in East Africa way before the transatlantic slave trade even started. So East Africa, most East Africans that were enslaved, they went up into Yemen, they went into Asia. They were sent up into Asia. Few of them, some of them went east to west through the Kanembra New Empire, that stretched damn near all the way from Sudan all the way to the west coast of Africa. So you had different empires. So some of them did, but for the most part, around there by the Great Lakes of Lake Victoria and stuff like that, Muslims got into the interior and started to extract Nubians and different groups of Africa, East Africans, and began to take them. They took them to Iran and Yemen and all those other places. So he can apologize, but knowing the actual history, majority of us didn't come from Uganda. Like it wasn't them that was doing it. You know, it was other groups. So this is symbology that he apologized. But the problem that I got with his apology is when he apologized, they kept talking about this Jesus Christ and don't get me wrong, you know, I use the Bible as my frame of reference, but I pay attention to everything that goes on. You can't have this conversation in the manner in which we have it and apologize and then start praising Jesus Christ right after you do, especially when you're African and you have your African traditions. Now people watching, stay with me for a minute because I'm building here.
Okay.
When you have your African traditions that's thousands of years older than any Christianity or Islam or any of these invader groups that came in, right? Mm-hmm. And you are older nation than these people. You had something they wanted. You set on gold and coffee and cocoa and all these different salt, all these different resources that these immigrant groups came in and they wanted. When they came in to conquer, right? You abandoned your religions for theirs. So now when you free to worship as you please, you still taking on a conqueror's religion, but then you apologizing to us for enslaving us. When they justified slavery by the curse of Ham. It was the reason why they could enslave you, with your skin being black. The Arabs did it too. So I pay attention to everything that go on. You can't, as a continental African that had your own spiritual systems before interruption came. I would have felt better if he would have apologized to us and then start talking in his native language and start praising his native God. That would have been like, damn, okay, you stolen from us. But it was the symbology, man, because everything that you did after you apologized, it's still colonialism. It's still what the white man gave us. The white man said he had to civilize us because all our gods and everything else we believe was wrong, while he was in there stealing every goddamn thing. So I'll lay that part right there.
So let me deal with this. You also believe that in this symbology or the symbolism, he's talking about Africa. Since we've sold these people, Africa has been cursed. And we are paying for this right now. And I believe the First Lady, Janet Museveni, in that prayer, please let the diaspora return. Now, in your honest opinion, do you believe she's talking to the diaspora, people like us? Or would you believe that it's the Ugandan diaspora in which they're referring to, that you talked about, that might have been sold up east somewhere else? You know, who do you think that they're referring to? And are they right? Is Africa?
They're referring to us. They're referring to us in that context.
Okay, why is that?
Those are old talking points that you will be cursed. You know, you're cursed, and you'll pay for what you did. You sold, you sold your family, you sold your people off. And they went away to a foreign land, which they never returned. So you've been cursed since then, because since you started to deal in the trading of your own people with foreign nations, Africa has never been the same. Africa has failed. She's never been at her highest potential since then. You know, people look at the planet and they see the Americas and the Arab Empire, but Africa old as shit. Africa has old civilizations that's been around way before. So if we've been under the foot of Islamic marauders for over 1,000 years, how long was Africa in its kingship? How many thousands of years? So, and they've been down since then, man. And we got took in this this transatlantic slave trade, and we went everywhere. You know, we went into the Caribbean, into Brazil, and all these different places. And out here in the West, we influenced the world. Like in the positions that we're in, we still influence everything. So I believe that he was just regurgitating the symbology that they say that, you know, African Americans need to return home. We're the most educated group, and you know, just not just Africans in the West. Period. I'm not saying not just African Americans, Haitians, Jamaicans, African Americans, all of us, the totality of all of us in these places. You know, we represent something. We represent something special. And those that know the history, they know it. They know what happened to us. So no, I just think that he was regurgitating symbology, you know, up there on the microphone to sound important.
Okay, so you don't believe that it's genuine?
No, it can't be.
Why is it not genuine?
Because Africa's not in control of their own destiny right now. Africa you can't make those kind of statements, and it's 2023 and the power is still going off for certain hours of the day. Like a lot of these African nations don't have power, don't have control of their own resources or their money. There's still corruption. It's still a lot. And the reason why it's still so much corruption, it's not that Africa's born with one less chromosome or they're stupid. Africa don't control Africa. Your colonial power still control it. Just so they don't look inhumane, they just put fake leadership in there to make it seem like, but they're not giving that up. There's too many residuals in it. You would know, we all men, you would know when Africa has their own power. Africa had their own military, their own standing military, Navy, Air Force. They'll have bases in Russia. Show me the Ugandan base in Russia.
Okay.
Right. So until you have that, then you ain't talking to me. I'm not listening to none of that shit. That's bullshit. It's symbology. Because you don't have the power to protect me when I come here.
Okay, so then let me ask you, because remember a few years ago, I was looking at when I had made my decision to become to Uganda. Obviously, I was coming to Uganda before I met you. But then you were like, if you should do it, go to Ghana. And then we've had a lot of people from our community, you know, like Dr. Smalls is in Ghana, Professor Smalls in Ghana, rather. He's been there. W.E.B. Du Bois has died. He died actually in Ghana. So this call from African countries as of late to win the diaspora back. We know the year of return. You see Sierra Leone is given it by DNA. And then now Uganda is also making its call for the diaspora to come there. And you're saying that it's fake.
Yeah.
So do you think that they want these people talented from the diaspora to come back at all?
I mean, I could never say. I would never know if he's being fake or real. I'm saying it's fake based off of the condition that Africa's in right now and the position that they're in. There needs to be some type of revolution, and African Americans need to see Africans standing up to white imperialism. Okay, like we need to see it. We need to see them dictating to the white man what it is that they want. I mean, Buju Banton got a song called Destiny. I want to control my destiny. Okay. I want to see Museveni telling the British to get the fuck out of here. And get the hell out of here. We do what we want to do. Okay. And matter of fact,
let me say this, but you don't think he's doing that with the LGBTQ thing?
Yeah, but that's not that don't matter to the white man, because the white man will let that happen because he uses the LGBT stuff to depower, or whatever word you want to use, to neutralize other men. The white man is still the apex predator on the planet. He's still that guy. He's still the go-to guy. He'll let you destroy your societies and all these other societies. But most masculine white men in societies, they frown upon that, even though they might practice it behind closed doors. They frown upon it because they're the alpha, the apex. So no, they'll let all that stuff is a smoke screen. What really moves this planet, LGBTs, the control of your resources, being able to develop your own people and protect it. And Africa right now are not in position to to stop anybody from coming into their home. We couldn't stop the Muslims 1,000 years ago. They can't stop the Asians now, and they couldn't stop the white man. So what I'm saying is that's why the reason why I started this off was, had he been talking in his tribal language,
okay,
and calling on his tribal gods, I think that would have went more with Africans in the West, because we've been robbed of a thorough knowledge of stuff, and we know that Islam and Christianity, they use those religions to enslave us. Mm-hmm. And I always didn't understand when I used to see Africans come over from Africa, and I'm like, yo, you got your language, you got the land, why are you a Muslim? I used to like, what are you Muslim for? Wait a minute, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. But that was before I really had understanding years back of what Islam did in Africa, and the wars and what they did, and the trading and the slavery that they was taking in for so long. But I feel as though, like, I think if Africa start getting the mind of loving his mother again, and letting all that other stuff go, I'll start seeing it as real. You know, you have to let all that stuff go and take back what's been taken from you. And see, for me, for people in the audience, I'm not saying this because I'm bashing Africa. I'm saying this because I love Africa. I'm saying this because I love the motherland. And it's time to see the motherland fight back. And not saying, oh man, they the fastest growing young people. Oh, I hear all that. I got you. The white man is going into automation and he pushing the goalposts back. He already preparing himself for that. That's not what I'm saying. I want to see Mother Africa with an attitude. It's time to have an attitude. You know, when we're going to get to a point where you just tell, you know what was satisfying me? When I see Museveni come on TV and just tell the Chinese to get the hell out, we can do it ourselves. And they actually start doing it. They start doing it. I believe that in 2023, with all the technology and everything we have now, Africa no longer has an excuse. They can do it. It's time to turn this stuff around, man. And like I said, the only thing I would give Africa is Africa don't have the military to protect itself. Okay. From invaders coming and taking stuff. And because I know that all the other stuff is a smokescreen, people can come over here and challenge me. Man, you know damn well if the British wanted to go back in and move into Africa, yeah, like I gotta keep it real. Like the way that they was fighting during apartheid, and the way that we was fighting here, I think when all of us start having a more revolutionary spirit towards our open enemy, that's when I believe it. Other than that, all that stuff is symbology. It's symbology. Okay. I mean, let me ask you, O'Shea. I mean, honestly, any country on this planet without a standing military to protect their own interests, do they control their own destiny? No. That's all I'm saying. I'm not putting Africa down. What I'm saying is African American, us in the West, Jamaicans. Let's think about this. During the 70s and the political unrest in Jamaica, you had the two groups fighting, and at the head of two of those groups was two white men. Bob Marley was trying to stop it. Remember the story? Bob Marley ended up getting shot and all that kind of stuff. But you got Jamaicans, Haitians, African Americans. We've been conquered, bro. We've been conquered. And in Africa, they've been colonized all throughout Africa. And like I said, Africa don't have a military base. Matter of fact, man, did you see them troopers in Uganda a couple months ago when he jumped out the plane and was landing all on the crowd and all that kind of stuff? That's a freaking embarrassment. I just got to, Museveni, I'm being honest with you. That's an embarrassment, and you know that's an embarrassment. So now, when other groups, when people in Asia and these other countries look and see that, what do you think they think about us? We're incompetent imbeciles. That people was laughing. I didn't think that was funny. That wasn't funny at all. So if we can't even parachute out a goddamn plane, you gonna tell me like, man, listen, man. Yeah. He was right. Africa's cursed until we decide not to be cursed. Them parachuting out that goddamn plane, landing on porta potties is a show of Africa being cursed, man. Okay. So let me get back to this though, because he is saying that we are cursed,
we do need our people to come back and help us.
What's the incentive?
And what do you mean incentive? Explain that.
What would be the incentive for us to come back to Uganda and help build Uganda? Like you extracting us from a place where I got paved roads. I feel like the power stay on all day. I come from for the last X amount of 100 years. My people put in work here. What's the incentive for me to leave here to go there when the people there are not in control of their own destiny? They can't wait to get the hell out of there to come here.
What do you say about somebody like myself?
I would say somebody like you, I understand you because we come from the same tribe. Your internal self is you gotta remember, we've been robbed of a thorough knowledge of self. Everything been stolen from us. So a lot of us that's in the knowledge, we try to find ourselves and find who we are. So you going back to the motherland or going back to Africa is a given. It's something that I like to come. I like to go. But that's a different question. Like somebody like you is there because it's in your spirit, it's in your DNA, it's in your heart to be there. But you all often talk to me about the struggles that you have to go through being there. You know, you gotta be a special type of person, especially coming from America with all the privileges that we do have here in America to go to a place over in Africa. I mean, you know, like you tell me it's not easy. Let me ask you a question. Do you think the average African American leaving here with, like I said, cars, paved roads, all the stuff that we got, do you think they would be adjust to being there?
No, not the average person.
That's what I'm saying. So the reason why, so that's why.
Is he making a call to the average person though?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's making a call to. I think he making a call because he said that. He said that Africa's cursed for what they did. So you can't repent. You can't repent and make an atone for what you did, but then you only want to extract the people that can benefit you. God judges you by your heart and your intent. So if your heart and your intent is only to extract the talented ones, but leave all the other ones behind, then you still wicked. Because it's not their fault that they had to come up here in this system. That was if you taking responsibility and blame for it, you sounded an alarm for us to come back home. But if I'm coming back home to your country, what is the incentive for me to come there? That's what I'm saying. We got to start when they start talking like that. We got to start holding them accountable to what they say. Because if you can tell me that Africa's been cursed since you sold my people, and now you got your intact language, you living on your land. I'm here as a so-called African American with no nation backing me. I can't. Who speaks for me at the UN? Nobody. Nobody. So I'm an African living in America. I'm two continents.
Right.
Who am I? Like a Nigerian, they have a Nigerian embassy. Where's the African American embassy?
Right.
So, and I don't get treated like an American. I'm a second class citizen. I'm a boy in America. I have a history here that's damaging. So when you're asking me to come back, I'm coming back for what and to where? To do what? What's the mission when we come back? I mean, you know, like I said, it would break my heart to leave America. For me, it would break my heart to leave America with all the messed up stuff that we got going on here in America, only to go to Africa and see women sidestepping black men for white men, because we gotta colonize a slave. We slave minded, and then they're colonized minded. You leave here and you leave one poison, and you go over there and you start seeing Africans put white people over themselves. I don't want to see that. So what I'm asking is, and I'm asking the real legitimate questions. Am I speaking for everybody? No.
Sure.
But go ahead.
No. So what you're saying is, he's saying, please come back home But the way you say it's symbolism or symbology, as you would refer it to, is that there are no qualifying steps, or anything that have been put into place to try to resettle these people. You're just saying them to come home, but come home to what? There's nothing undergirding these people so that they can come home and contribute in a meaningful way, which would lead you to believe that's suspicious and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Why would I leave America to come there and suffer in poverty? Where a lot of Africans are running from Africa to come to America. Why would I leave here when he's educated enough to know what happened to my people? Our people. And
he's very knowledgeable on world history. He's a genius.
But see, the thing is, he's a king. He's a king. And then that empire, Burunda, what's it called over there?
Burundi.
In Uganda. Uganda. Man, I was reading up on them, and what they was doing. So I ain't gonna say it all here, but I was reading up on. I'm reading up on the participants in the East African slave trade, and some of those people over there in Uganda on that side, man. But I'm just saying, you want us to come back. What's the incentive? And Museveni, being as though he is a king, he's educated. He's not like the regular layman person on the ground that may not have education. He knows who we are. And like I said, you had a vertical slave trade, and then you had, like I said, you had slaves that from East Africa that went down into South Africa and then into Brazil. You had ones that went straight from Lake Victoria in the 5 Great Lake regions, from Tanzania, Mozambique, all the way up into Asia. And then you had some that was marched through the Congo or marched through Sudan into West Africa and then put on ships and then brought to the Americas. So no, they know the history. They definitely know the history. And the transatlantic slave trade was more intense because they said about 17 million slaves in East Africa for over about 1,200 years. But they did the same thing in the transatlantic slave trade in like 346 years. So it's a lot that Africa's been through for a long time. Africa's been dethroned for a long time. And I feel like this. I think the Africans in the West are the most educated, from London to the Americas. Mm-hmm. So if you're reaching out to the diaspora and you want us to come back home, that means that let's just say 10 million diasporan Africans return home. And I ain't talking about the ones in the Middle East. I'm talking about the America, London, France, all up around those areas, Jamaica, and all those places, Haiti. We return home 10 million. And a lot of us will return home with skill sets. But we bringing our skill sets back to Africa. What is the incentive of people that was stolen and sold, and you're admitting it, and you're admitting that the motherland is cursed because of what you did to me. So now when I come back with my expertise, what do I get? Land? We get free housing. What do we get? Because some locals will say, well, you don't get nothing. You don't get anything. And I would say, well, wait a minute. How we don't get anything when we didn't come to America as immigrants. We were stolen and forced here. And some of those nations are taking responsibility for what happened to us. So when we do come, we do get special. There has to be some form of recompense. There has to be some form of atonement. And I think that all African Americans should hold as African American, but blacks in the West, in the diaspora, from the Caribbean to the Americas, we need to start asking questions.
Like what kind of questions?
When they start saying come back home, we need to start saying for what?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, I'm not saying that as an insulting way.
Right.
I'm not disrespecting Africa. I'm asking the question. You can't tell me that you was responsible for selling me.
Right.
And while I'm here and I've been robbed of a thorough knowledge of self, then you want me to come back. You want me to come back. And I know why you want me to come back. You want me to bring that skill set back there.
Right.
You know how I know that? Because look at the way you're performing while you're there. You left America and went there. You have a certain unique set of skills there that allows you to move ahead of the locals. And let me tell you something about African kings. People like Paul Kagame and Museveni, they're not stupid. They know what's up. They know if they had a large influx of people. What's that DJ? The brother from the UK.
DJ Maintain.
Yeah, they want brothers like him and y'all there. And y'all have a different viewpoint towards the Asian, the Lebanese, the Indian, and that white man. He ain't gonna come in there and bully you. Museveni know that. He know that. He knows that we view them differently. I'm not gonna be in line. Ain't no Lebanese that's gonna come cut in front of me like that. Our mentalities is different. Am I wrong?
It's correct.
So there's a different way of thinking, a different thought process. Mm-hmm. So I think that he may have may have not meant any harm, but I don't take that stuff serious until Africa start taking Africa serious. I need to see Africa providing opportunities for their own people. Let me just say this, and I say this to all African leaders. As a so-called African American, I need to see you guys investing back into your own people, to the point where your people don't have to flee Africa in droves to come to America, where a lot of us is ready to get the hell out of here. We need to see that you're investing. Nigeria in 2023 should be like damn near built like New York City. It shouldn't be in the conditions that it's in. That's an embarrassment. And to me, that lets me know that Nigeria don't control Nigeria, because the white man uses the same playbook everywhere he goes. He kept South America underdeveloped and dilapidated to stop them from developing themselves to become a world power and challenge them, because South America has rich in resources. So all those nations that's rich in resources, you have to keep them beat down, dilapidated, and not being able to depend on itself. I'm saying Nigeria has all these billionaires, all these smart people. Until Nigeria start doing better as a center point for Africa, then there's no need to go there. Unless you have something in place where, hey, we got this in place for African Americans to return. We need engineers, we need doctors, we need barbers, and like you literally got the commercials, you literally providing the services saying, hey, we need all you guys, we need Jamaicans and Haitians, all you guys with skill sets, dentists, master masons, we need you to come back and we're giving you a 10-year such and such. Until they're in position to do that, then no, I'm not taking none of that shit serious. And I shouldn't take it serious. I stand on that.
Do you think that, let's say, instead of the African government saying, we need you to come back home and making that statement, because some people are getting excited about, even with Museveni, he's gotten a lot of praise from, people for the LGBTQ thing. You've seen a lot of people going to Ghana, things like that. Do you believe, or how would you suggest, if you are to make a transitional period for, people in the diaspora, that was Caribbeans and, or African Americans or whoever else, even Ugandans that lost citizenship want to come back, whatever else. What, if you were the president, how would you make, what would you do to appease these people who would like to come back and they cannot?
I will create incentives for them to come back. I will have budgets set in place to start rebuilding Africa, especially West Africa, where a lot of our people come from. Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Senegal, Ivory Coast. they should have like their own West Africa Union or something. Something like that. They should have something set in place where now they're using their materials to develop their own nations. And they should be calling out to the diaspora, because we've been educated in the West. You no longer have to send your children to France and all those places, because you're extracting in the diaspora, just in the Americas alone, America, Brazil, and all up and down, it might be 150 to 200 million of us. Yeah, it might be 100 million to 200 million of us. So like we're everywhere. We've been dispersed all throughout the world. And and that's not counting all the Africans that's in Asia. So they need to start creating incentives for Africans that's been educated to return home. And they should be calling for doctors, lawyers, dentists, master masons, builders, scientists. They should be calling for all of us to come home. And it should be incentives for us to come there. We should come there and automatically have paying jobs to help develop the nation with our expertise that we have. Shouldn't be no bullshit. And if you can't do that, then no, because when African leaders come out and talk like that, you talking to a damaged, traumatized people that just want to feel loved. So when Museveni make that statement, of course, a lot of African Americans won't like it, because they want to feel loved. They want to feel like they matter. Oh man, they recognizing us now. Okay, cool, but I ain't falling for the okie doke. Okay, cool. I heard you, but last I checked, you the president of a nation that's rich in resources. You got it all. We need to get rebuild this country. So you need an influx of people from the West over there. You need to have a budget. You need to have, like the white man do, a 15 to 20 year plan. Why is the Chinese coming and having to give you money? Why is Africa in debt? These are questions that we need to ask. They have to answer those questions. Why? How can a place with all the resources that's been colonized and beaten down by different groups owe all this money? So if you have a debt to the point where you can't even take care of your own people, what I'm coming there for?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm coming there for? I mean, until you just say, you know what, enough is enough, and you just start smacking people around, and we say, okay, well, maybe we want to come in and join the fight or something. But you ain't even, listen, Ghana, tell France to get the hell out. Tell them to get out. Go on TV, national conference. We are forming our own money, and you're not going to do to us what you did to that other guy up in Northern Africa. I ain't got to say his name. We ain't doing that, because when the guy Ghana saying that the president of Cameroon is backing him, the president of Mali is backing him. Not Mauritania, because they just all messed up. But until we see that, until they get some stones to want to step out on their own, then no. I would respectfully tell African Americans to not go. You can go and visit, but don't go over there trying to just live over there in mass droves. Maybe a couple of y'all, but don't 10 million strong go and leave, because they gotta have something in place for y'all when y'all get there. And they gotta have a level of freedom to be able to do it. Like, there's a paradigm shift coming. Things gotta change, man. France been eating off Africa for a long time. When is Africa gonna tell them to get the F out? And if not, get out by force. I'm just saying, like, the British been eating for a long time on the east coast of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And still to this day, behind the scenes controlling stuff. So it's like when everybody can criticize the African American or us in the West, but the minute I critique Africa, oh man, you don't know what you talk about, you hating it. Yes, I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm not hating. I'm speaking this way because I love Africa. I would love to come back home, but I want to come back home when I see the president stop the corruption in their country, start taking care of their people, and tell the Europeans to kiss their ass and take control of your resources. Because if your resources was enough to make France become what it is in the last 500 years, make Portugal become what it is, then that means that you got enough resources to develop your own nation and develop your own stuff. Where's the African fighter jet at, O'Shea?
I don't know.
I'm talking about manufactured, made by Africans. Where is it? Where's the African tank? So all I'm saying is we live on a planet full of killers. If you can't protect your interests, then you can't protect me when I come over there. You over there in Uganda right now, and I talk to you about this all the time. If some shit broke out, man, you stuck over there, bro. You got to figure it out. You in the trenches, like you just there. But if war broke out, like they're not gonna say, "Hey, that's the African American right there. Protect him." Am I lying?
I don't think so.
And I respect you because that's the route that you take for it. And I respect it, but it's nothing. It's no mechanisms or nothing set in place to protect us if we there. We just there. So I feel like we fought here for a long time. We have a lot at stake here, but I would rather go back there. But like I said, I feel the way I feel. I feel the way I feel, and I told you this on the phone before. I don't want to come to Africa and see some dirty ass old white man from Scandinavia somewhere that couldn't make it in this country. But when he come to Africa, he gets the best of all the A1 women because our people are still brainwashed and colonized. Why would I leave races as America to come here and see that foolishness? And I done talked to plenty of Africans that tell me what go on over there. So, and I've seen you do videos talking about that. You'll see a scrungy, dirty 70-year-old something white man with a 22-year-old African girl, beautiful. And he just, because he white. Nah, I don't know. Am I wrong though?
No, you're not wrong. It does happen. And
that's all. This is all I'm saying to the Africans, my African brother. That was kind of that. Not the Africans. Let me rephrase to my African brothers and sisters. It's not as good as you think it is here. It's the illusion of wealth. And I know that it's not as good as people think it is there. Like we got to fix all this stuff. But I believe that it don't start with the African Americans returning to Africa. It starts with Africa starts to start kicking ass in Africa, and then asking us to come and assist. But it's not our job to go back and rebuild Africa or be the saviors of Africa. It's only a little bit of us. Y'all, I mean, we're the youngest children. Y'all are it's Africa. It's Africa. I mean, you know, Africa should be handling Africa. And then I would feel like if Museveni was on his rebel shit and was basically telling the world we control our own resources, the uranium, the oil, the gold, whatever we sell, we're gonna sell it at our price, and we're gonna use the money to develop our nation. In the next 15 years, Ghana should be one of the leading nations in the world. If he ain't talking like that and we can see it, I'm telling you, don't fall for the bullshit, y'all. That's why every African nation should be talking. Nigeria should be on TV saying that we're going to be one of the foremost powers in the next 15 years because of our resources that other nations have used to become world powers. There is no cell phones and computers without the Congo and coltan and all those different things. So if it's right there, the Beers Diamonds and all these different things, cocoa, Hershey's and Egyptian cotton and all this kind of stuff. Come on, man. Ain't nowhere in the world you go there and they still living in them kind of houses and the streets ain't right and it's all dusty and dirt roads and shit. No, it's not. Listen, either I'm just stupid or we're going to be real and say it's just at this point it's unacceptable. Or just be real and say, you know what, Africa's still colonized and conquered.
Okay. Well, this is going to be, I can see the controversy in the comments. So, brother, just let them know it's a good bill. You brought some strong points. I think it's going to be kind of hard to debunk a lot of the things you're talking about.
If for people that disagree if it's controversial, I would say African Americans go through the same thing because African Americans could be living up to their greatest potential, but they have we have psychological trauma. And some of the things that we can do, we don't even believe we can do it. And we won't the same way another African won't work with other Africans and all that kind of stuff like they had the problem over there in Africa. Guess what? Newsflash, we have the same problem here in America. So Africans work with other Africans more when they come to America because it's less of them. So they have to work together to build. But over there in their countries, I got a friend from Ivory Coast. We talk every day. We work out together. He tell me everything that's going on. So he was like the same. He told me the same issues we got here amongst ourselves, they got in the Ivory Coast. They got in Ghana. They got in Nigeria. And it has to stop. And I'm saying, you can tell me I'm wrong, but either Africans got one less chromosome, they born with 45 chromosomes instead of 46. They stupid like the white man said, or we've been conquered and we conquered in the mind and we have to redevelop ourselves. We have to get some balls and tell the white man, get the we're going to sell you our shit at the rate we want to sell it for so we can develop our countries to compete against you. If you ain't doing that, then it's a waste of time. Don't miss me with the symbology. I feel like Africa's cursed because we sold our people. Man, I don't want to hear that shit, man. I don't want to hear that shit from y'all. I mean, you are a king. You Museveni, man. You a king. King Joffrey Joffrey and shit. Like y'all should be running shit. I'm just saying. I just feel like Africa for the Africans. Africa should be running shit by now, man. We need our own fighter jets. We need our own tanks. We need our own everything. So now when the Asian want to come in and give us bad deals that we know we can't pay back, bad loans that they know we can't pay back, and you come in our office, man, we pull them things. I'll say, get the because if we can't pay, now you want to, you got articles about certain countries losing their airports and they taking this and taking that. Nah, man, nah. It's time to put some respect. It's time we put some respect back on Black people's name, man. For the Caribbean.
All right. So, guys, great interview. Subscribe to Brother Street Media TV below. And, man, I can't wait to see what the comments are going to say on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any last words?
Make sure you guys are supporting Urban Nerds. Go over to Urban Nerds Worldwide channel. And make sure you guys are supporting Street Media TV right there. Make sure y'all go over there and subscribe. Subscribe to Street Media TV, man. And let's start unifying. Let's have a unified way of thinking. Let's build Africans up all over the planet. But I'm telling my continental Africans to start with you. You the mother. You got to slap somebody first. You know how back in the day when if you was on a block and your mom or your dad, somebody got in a fight with somebody on the block, as soon as they swung, the whole family swung, right? Mm-hmm. You got to swing first. You can't call. You got to swing. You got to kick somebody in the ass, and we can say, okay, all right, and then you're gonna start seeing when you kick somebody in the ass, you're gonna start seeing a conscious change. Watch.
All right, guys. It's your boy O'Shea from the King Ghana channel. We're out. Peace.